Ahoy, and welcome. This is Admiral, here with a bit of slightly aged and all the more delicious news, but also an interesting follow-up to an older video featuring community speculation about the focus of the next AoE2 DLC. Shortly after that video, we got the well-received curveball that was Battle for Greece, and credit to the comms team, they were absolutely right. That was one surprise we'd simply never guess.
This is Sparta!
Even that one guy who correctly predicted Battle for Greece didn't actually correctly predict Battle for Greece, although plenty of partial credit for being broadly on the right track. But the major predictions in my highly speculative video from a few months ago, apart from being those few months offset by said curveball, have otherwise aged remarkably well, from the theme of the DLC to its most likely constituent civilizations. To review that older video and its predictions, something of a group effort from forum members, and with particular credit to Tyranno for her contributions and advocacy, the thinking was that the next DLC would have an East Asian or Sinosphere focus. The small amount of evidence that there is does seem to point towards East Asia, with a possible Chinese campaign as well as civilizations that could be added around China, such as Khitans, Jurchens, Tanguts, or even the controversial Tibetans. You could roughly call it a Chinese split, but it would be more appropriately understood as adding nearby civilizations with whom they interacted, especially the Tanguts and Jurchens, both of which are excellent matches for the unit and architectural profiles we see in the new teaser images. Again, with the help of Tyranno, we'll note that one of the castles shares obvious features with Tangut fortifications, and I'll eat my helmet if the Siege Camel isn't the Tangut unique unit. The mounted unit is most likely a Tiefutu or Iron Pagoda, which, as any civ crafter worth his salt knows, is the most obvious unique unit for a Jurchen civilization. So I think it's safe to say that these two civilizations are on the menu, although the devs promise to keep further details under wraps until spring. So when spring rolls around, we can unwrap those spring rolls along with any other surprises. My only disappointment so far is the apparent lack of a new mainland Asian or Sinosphere architecture set in contrast to the current, very Japanese-inspired East Asian set. While it's always possible that such a set is still in the works, better not to have that expectation without reason. Yet I will continue to insist that a new building set or three would be highly popular and well worth the developer's time, especially considering that we haven't had a new one covering the medieval period in over 5 years since the beginning of Definitive Edition, and there's plenty of room for additional architectural articulation as we've covered in other videos featuring East Asian and Black Sea architecture mods. Now they have promised that this will be one of the most exciting DLCs yet, which to me suggests some major wild card that isn't yet apparent. Battle for Greece definitely raised the bar in terms of assets, effort, and investment in a DLC, and the scope and scale of the upcoming DLC, at least from the limited information we have now, seems more akin to the Mountain Royals, with 2 new civilizations and a campaign for an existing civ, which I don't think would have fit the bill for the most exciting DLCs even before Battle for Greece, and certainly not after. Mountain Royals was a reasonably good DLC, but far from the most riveting with its sparse approach to assets and extras outside the obligatory heroes. So I expect that there is more to this upcoming East Asian DLC that will become apparent soon enough. Might the DLC include the long-awaited yet controversial Tibetans or other civilizations such as the Khitans, partial unit or building reskins for existing civilizations, or other popular features? Or perhaps a very intense and replayable Chinese campaign with Chronicles-style features, including branching choices preserved across campaign missions, or even scenarios covering pre-medieval battles in a way uniquely appropriate for the Chinese. Either way, I appreciate that the development team is bold enough to try something as unexpected yet interesting as Battle for Greece, but also shows responsiveness to longtime fan requests like this. As much as I found Battle for Greece intriguing, I am looking for a return to form with AoE2's more standard fare, the core medieval content that has been its bread and butter for 25 years. Even erring on the conservative side, it looks like this DLC will have at least 2 long-requested civilizations, and the Chinese will finally get a campaign, which is certainly something to look forward to. And I'm excited to present further updates as they come in. But apart from this interesting announcement, I want to re-emphasize how cool it is that our community detectives correctly predicted this as the next medieval DLC, even if it looked a little silly after turning the clocks back to antiquity for Battle for Greece. That's all for today, and thanks for watching. This has been me showcasing superb speculation successfully stating the sinospheric centrality of the subsequent DLC. Till next time.